What's up, fellas? So Saturday morning out here, finally getting to work on this thing this week. Hadn't really done much since last week. I was working with some other things. First thing, I bought this is a Summit transmission drive shaft safety loop. Not a transmission drive shaft, it's a drive shaft safety loop. I saw it on Summit because I was looking at, I have that one, but it weighs like 7 pounds, 7.5 pounds. And I thought, well, I could drill some holes in it to make it lighter. Then I saw this thing, and I like the design better because there's like less material, I think, maybe. Well, maybe not. It depends. But it looked lighter in the pictures, thinner. And the reasoning why I like this design better because I think it's easier to make than one like that. So what I want to do is get material like this and make it out of aluminum. Because I figured I could do that. So I wanted to get this one to get the specs off it and you know, kind of see how it works out, what I could do to make it lighter. So I might still try to make one out of aluminum. This, like I said, is a little over 7 pounds. This one's a little over 6, I think close to 6.5. So there's really not a huge weight savings, and it was only like 20 some bucks. So I figured, well, I'll try it out just to see how much difference it is, and then kind of get the dimensions off it so I can make one that was lighter. Still haven't done anything inside of here. And over here, what I was goofing with this morning is put fresh fuel in my parts cleaner and hook this up. I had fuel in it before, and I cleaned it all out the other night, but I got supposedly ethanol free gas from Murphy's. Yeah, it was not ethanol free. It is it started to stink after a month, and it sat in here for a while, and you can see the hose is getting nasty. So because that laid in the fuel I had in it. So I went to Sefco this morning and got some more 89 octane, supposed to be ethanol free. We'll see how it lasts after a month. But what I'm doing, I put a loop on the end of my fuel lines for the trooper car, and then because they were out underneath the other carports, so I just running some fuel through them back and forth just to make sure there's no boogers inside there, bugs or whatever. Clean the fuel lines off, and then stick them back in the car, and then I can start putting the new lines on, the fuel rubber parts, and put them in. So that's what I'm going to attempt today. The wife has not mentioned any kind of little tricks I got to take her on or anything like that. Brandon is coming over later, so that might curtail us some, but that's all right. We don't mind that. So anyway, I'm gonna get back at it. It's like 9:30 in the morning, 101 degrees temperature feels like. It's only 87, but the humidity's up in the high 70s, so it feels like it's 101. That's why I've got those fans going. All right, I'll update you on the next clip while we get done. Later. What's up, guys? So I'm putting the brakes on, and yes, this clip is like 3 weeks after the one you just saw before this. So anyway, started putting these on. I couldn't get the brake caliper on. I was like, what's going on with this thing? Then I remembered the pads are side specific on the 2 piston calipers for the new edge calipers. So this pad with no rivets here on the main part, this goes on the inside, so the pistons are going to sit here, and this one is for the outside. So inside, room for the pistons, and then outside you don't have to worry about that, because if you try to put this on the inside, the piston's going to hit that and it won't go on, and you'd be like, what the hell? And it even has pictures, and they suck. So, but we got like 4 different languages and crappy pictures. So anyway, moving on. We'll see you in the next clip. Alright guys, I want to put the caliper on, and then I remembered on these, for some reason, I think when I had the 2 piston calipers on here before, when I first put it to, first got it, first went through it, I didn't have any issue. But this little bump right here, you sometimes have to kind of get rid of that, because your forward piston, how the back of the caliper right there will bump into that, and you can get the bolt for the caliper bracket almost in, to mount the caliper, but it won't fit. Just got to take and grind this off, and then it'll fit. I'll show you what it looks like when you're done here in a second. All right, guys, so I ground it off, and that's what it looks like. Just nice and smooth radius there. I get it in the picture there. That'll keep that from bumping up against the caliper. And then I remembered with that old wheel setup that I used to run, the drag stars and a 1-inch spacer, the stock lug nuts would poke through the 1-inch spacer and go into the back of the wheel. So I cut the lug studs off a little bit, so I went ahead and go put new ones back on it, because the way these Vision wheels that I have, and I think they're called drag lights, I won't need to run the 1-inch spacer. I can run a 1-inch or a 1/8-inch spacer, and then having the extra length on the lug stud will give me a little bit more of a warm fuzzy. I got all the grip on it I can get. I didn't have any issues before, but I promised myself when I did get it apart, I would put new studs in. I just forgot about it till now. So we'll go to O'Reilly's, get some studs, pop them in the freezer overnight, zip them in tomorrow, use the little Ugga-Dugga to get them seated in. Got to keep an eye that these are oriented right, because they got a flat, so make sure that goes up against your hub when you put them in. That's all on this one for now. We'll update you on the next thing in a little bit. Alright, fellas, so I figured I would go over some of the parts I used to make this contraption work. So this is the stock hardline, and then I had to use let's see if I can put these without dropping them. This thing right here, that is a little quarter inch to 3/16 brake adapter, and then this guy is this thing here. It'll focus. That adapts the brake line to this. This is the stainless steel 3mm strange universal brake line. It's got the, I think I tightened that up already. Yeah. It's got the no wait, I lied. Hold on. Got too much junk over here. This thing, that right there is this. It's a 50100. It looks, you can see the other one there. One of the guys at work gave me one. He told me about it, so that was a good thing. And this is the banjo boat fitting. They got 3 different kinds made by Russell. There's one that comes off straight and another one that's at a 90-degree. I got the one that's a little bit curved, so when it comes down to the brake line, it'll stick out, curve back toward the line a little bit. Alright, so when you put this fitting made by All-Star into the brake line mount, that little tit right there, you got to trim her down a little bit. I just use my die grinder. You don't want to cut the whole thing flat, just the tip, not all of it, just the tip, so to speak. And then when you put it in there, you can use what's called an E-clip. This is the wrong side. I think it was a 7/16, but anyway, the groove on the back of it is big enough for 2 of them, so it's mounted pretty solid, and it ain't gonna come off. Got 2 of them clips on there. Like I said, I bought them at Ace. They were under $1 a piece, and the bin said 3/4 inch, so I didn't buy 4 at first because I'm a retard. I bought 2, and then when I tried it out, it was too big. So then I while I was at Lowe's, so I grabbed 2 more 3/4 inch. I was thinking, man, that's awfully big, and it was. So apparently they had them in the wrong bin at Ace. So like I said, I think a 7/16 will probably work, because that groove is like 0.4 something. So a 1/2 inch should probably be too big. That's about it. And I had to use another one of these Dorman things, because what I did was I got rid of the proportioning valve. Damn, something happened there. Anyway, I got rid of the proportioning valve. I just used a little 3-way splitter, another one of these Dorman 1/4 inch to 3/16 adapters to go from the factory brake line, and then like I said, got rid of the proportioning valve. I would have a adjustable proportioning valve there, but I took it off to put on the red car. And then of course I got the line lock there, run up, Maximum Motorsports manual brake conversion. Got the lines mounted rigid using these clamps here and the other kind of clamp back there, so it's all rigid. It shouldn't vibrate, and the line coming over here to the other side is real short, and it's mounted on another bracket like so. So that's pretty much it. Everything in here is done far enough where I can put the engine in, so I can get that out of the way. I just got to clean up the headers and get them on. I took them to my work, and I went down to the corrosion shop and I used their bead blaster. Got a big thing that's about half the size of this car, so that worked pretty good. All right, stand by for one more clip. All right, guys, I'll probably wrap this up after this. This is the hood scoop I bought. Started working on mounting it. I got to do some work back here, because this was made for something that was flat, and obviously this has got a curve or a slope down. So I got some work to do on it. Kyle said just fill up the seam with or the gap with seam sealer, and it's like, man, that's a lot. So I'll probably, what I have to do is take some of this out here to get it to kind of lay flat, and then build this up with fiberglass here at the front. That's a Fiberglass Specialties. I'll put the link in the comments if anybody wants one. It was one that I found that wasn't, some of them are ridiculously high. They look like a cartoon. And then some, I wanted to make sure I got plenty of air through there. And of course, once I get the engine in the car, I got to figure out where to cut the hole for it. So that's working on that. And what else? Just to show you, I got my glasses on too, because I got to do some cutting. But this whole thing has taken a long time. I think I started this like the end of November. But it's just been ridiculous. I was real careful about putting stuff away, putting it in bags and labeling it. And I got these big tubs from Lowe's, putting stuff in there, trying to be real careful about not just setting something off to the side, put it in there so I can find it. I don't know what happened. I put because of course I did swap control arms from the red car, but the other day I went to put the springs in the back. I got the rear end in, I got the gas tank in, got the fuel lines all run, brake lines, all that stuff's in, and I go to put the springs in, and I can't find the poly. Some people don't run them. I run them just because I like a little bit. They make too much noise to me, and it just sounds like something's falling off. So I got the poly spring isolators. Well, I could find the top part, but I couldn't find the bottom one. So I was like, what in the hell? I was looking through all the tubs. I probably wasted half a day looking for it. And finally, I just said, you know what? I'm just going to buy new ones. So I made an order to Summit, and I put them in there, got all the stuff, opened them up, go to put them in today, and on the control arm is the bottoms that I was looking for. I looked everywhere but on the control arm. It's like, God bless it. So I'll use them on something else, but it's just aggravating. It's kind of like that this whole, not everything, but a lot of stuff's just a comedy of errors. And of course, I'm always making jokes about hiding my own Easter eggs in a few years, so that does get me more aggravated. But we're making progress. Haven't done anything with body work. I'll show you the rest of the stuff here in a second. Nothing really with the body work, just put the trunk liner or seal on just so it can kind of settle. Like I said, I got the gas tank in, got all that stuff over there. Rear end is in. I still got to mount the brake lines, and of course here's the polyurethane mount I was talking about. There's the new ones I was going to put in. Haven't done anything else in here either, so everything's been focused on the brakes and some other stuff. So anyway, I'll get this wrapped up, and we'll start a new one. Shouldn't, hopefully it won't be a month to get the next update. It's not like I haven't been working, it's just nothing real productive, I guess, to show. But anyway, that's where we're at, and I'm hoping to get the headers cleaned up and get them all set. I'm off on Monday and Tuesday, so I'm hoping to get the engine in at least, and then I can put the transmission in, all that stuff, and maybe sometime soon get a little fire and exhaust, put some fuel through it. We'll see. We got a timeline. We still got other cars waiting. Got the red cars coming in after this to get that engine put in it, and then the engine from the red car, we're going to the LTD, and then the Capri comes in, and then by the end of the year I want to get Brandon's car in here. That's the objective. All right, well, appreciate y'all. Later on.